Hi, everybody. I am back now that I don't calm down. You see why I don't come to the camera? I don't come to the camera because of my condition right now. My blood pressure and everything, you know, is. Yes, Carmelo is innocent. Don't get me started. I am just so into my Carmelo. I love my Carmelo. Okay, I don't care what y'all have to say about him, but I love me some Carmelo. Carmelo is innocent. He's innocent. I don't care what they say about my Carmelo. My Carmelo is a hero to the Black American community. And they know that. That's why they trying to hold my little brother back. But Carmelo, you gonna get through this like David, boo. Cause your elder here, your elder Carmelo is praying for you. I'll be 60 in about another year. And I know what I have seen and what I have witnessed on the blessings of my life, of actually having the blessings of my life. I don't want to see that other face. That's why I did that. This is Carmelo. Carmelo, we love you, Carmelo. You coming out, baby. I am Carmelo's. I will say I'm older than his mother. I know I'm older than his mom and his dad. I would say I'm more like his grandmother. That's why it's touching me so deep. I'm more of a grandmother. I'm an elder. I'm an elder to the young man's life. And I'm an elder. That's why I know what I'm saying is right. I wouldn't speak on this. Trust me. I wouldn't speak on the fact that this young man had to do what he had to do. I'm an elder. I'm almost 60. I'm a senior citizen. I'm almost close to being a senior. Listen to your elders. And this is what I try to tell young people. That's why I came here as an advocate. Because I was advocating against injustice. I'm an R. Kelly lover. Okay? I'm an R. Kelly lover. I saw the injustice. From then, I knew it was my calling. That's why I had to let my voice be heard. I'm speaking up for those who've been wronged by this white supremacist justice system. Justice system for them, they Jesus, is not our Jesus. Now, there are some over there, as far as white people, who have helped Christian. Put it this way. There was white Christians that helped us. So we don't want to look at all white people as evil. When I say white supremacists, I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the white people who have these high officer government jobs that are out here oppressing the people. When I talk about white supremacists, I'm talking about people that only just care about being white. They don't about the color of just their skin. They not talking. I'm not talking about seeing, things that are just. So when I say that, who's ever offended by what I say, good. They supposed to be offended because I'm calling out Satan. Hear what I'm saying? When I say white supremacists, I'm not talking about all white people. Because I know there's some white people who see the injustice, who have witnessed the injustice of what happened on April the 2nd of 2025. I'm not talking about those white people who are honest, who are pure, who are clean, and those who really understand what we are going through here as foundational black Americans, the ones who see the truth. I'm not talking about the ones who's trying to hide the truth. Those are the white supremacists. The white supremacists are the ones who's hiding the truth because they not in Christ. They the enemy. They even the enemy to their own people because they use them just like they use some of us. I am almost 60 years old, and in this time, I'm going to run these mouths and I'm going to share my wisdom. God didn't bring me this far to turn around. There's still some bridges, there's still some roads, there's still going to be some challenges ahead, obstacles. But what I have seen already is when I look back over my life and I saw the injustice that was served to Trayvon Martin. Because now it has turned around that is now in our children. That Carmelo was is already been judged by their white supremacists. Carmelo, not all white people felt that way about Carmelo. Because I know we got to live in a world with people that are different. People that come from all different cultures. And people that have certain traditions. We know that. We're not trying to say that murder is just. We're not saying that. But sometimes, even in the Bible, murder is justice. Because we're not in the Old Testament anymore. We're in the New Covenant when Jesus said, follow the commandments. But if we follow in the commandments, thou shalt not kill, we should have followed the same commandment when George Zimmerman stalked and killed Trayvon Martin. That's what I'm saying here. So if this is the law, we follow the commandments. We follow the law. It's the law. You want to go back to the Old Testament when Moses did what he did because of the commandment of thou shalt not kill is what kept Moses from entering into the promised land. And I truly will I would truly would like people to understand when they use it against us. But it's not against us because we followed the law. We followed the law. Stand your grounds. Self-defense. Didn't George Zimmerman use that law when he killed Trayvon Martin? Come on now. Come on now. Let's be real. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to make it your law that it's okay for a white man to kill a small 17-year-old child who just coming out of the womb, who just new to the world. He's only been here 17 years. You've been here way more longer than he has, but you hunt him down and you kill him and you still get away with murder. And the law is thou shalt not kill. My God is with me. My God is who's using me in this fight. He's ahead of my life. He's the commander and he is the chief of the army. You killed Trayvon Martin when he was 17 years old. This was in February of 2012. He just turned 17 years old. You stalked him and killed him. And you got away with murder. Now let's turn to Carmelo. Let's turn it around to Carmelo Anthony, the 17-year-old who was there for a school, from his school. He was supposed to be there. And he followed the instructions of his instructor, which was his coach. Because it started raining. And they didn't want the children to be on the field because it was raining, and told the children to go sit in a tent. And there was a tent that the school had an agreement with, that it was okay for children from other schools to sit under their tent in case of any type of weather condition. He goes to that tent. And here comes Austin, Matcliffe, and Hunter. You can't be here. You don't go to this school. You got to move. This is not your tent. And then afterwards, as Carmelo is trying to get up, leave, don't want no kind of conflict with any of the bullies that just told him he cannot sit under the tent to keep himself dry from the rain. Next thing, he's gathering, he grab his things. Of course he's in a sweatsuit in his school, name of his school with his school names on it. It's in the police report, y'all. Look at the police report. He was dressed in his sweatpants. Because I used to run track when I was a teenager. More like a preteen. I used to run track. Sometimes we put our uniform underneath something, we'll wear like a sweatsuit or whatever. We take off our sweatsuit. Whether we doing relay, distance, hurdles, we run track. Okay, I was an athlete. I was very athletic. I wouldn't say I was very athletic, but one thing I love is track. Track was one of my favorite sports because I was a runner. Okay, and then you trying to not have any conflict. You trying to gather your things. You already see the problem. You already know you can't really beat this dude. Okay, you already know that. And then he got his twin brother, and you just only 130 something pounds, and you may be 5'9" or whatever like that, and you're outnumbered. And you're looking at everybody else around you. Some of them don't even look like you. The majority of them don't even look like you. You just small weight, 5'9". Not only just that, they're 6'2" and 200 and whatever plus pounds they are. But you look at them like, how am I going to get myself away without getting harmed? How am I get away for without getting harmed? Okay? This is where I'm going. So the next thing you know, you're trying to gather your things and get out of the way. But still in all, they grab your stuff and they throwing it around and they bullying you, they hitting you, they pushing you. And then after that, you just say, don't touch me again, or you see what I'm gonna do. And you find something that maybe in your bag or something that's maybe just there in the tent. And you pick it up. And the first one that comes towards you and you already told them, don't touch me, or you going to see what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden they feel they bold enough to put their hands on you again. What you going to do? You going to take that, whatever tool, instrument, whatever you got, and you going to go right for the jugular. You going to take them out. I told you, you violated me. So you don't know if you really, truly injure them. But as soon as you do it, you just take off. You run. You're like, oh my God, I can't take this. And you being picked up, handcuffed, searched, whatever the police officers do. I don't trust white police officers, especially when it comes to something as such as this. I don't trust white people. I just don't trust you when there's no adult there as far as Carmelo's parents, because he's a minor. I don't know the state of Texas law as far as what is a minor and what is an adult, but I just know he's a minor. At this point, he's a minor. He's a minor. And he's scared. And he said, y'all said there was a a stabbing, whatever, such and such on they report. And he says, well, it's not really alleged. I did it. I don't know if he said it. Because there's nobody else. This is just their word. It's what they given in their report to Carmelo's word. If they read him, his Amanda rights, I don't know. But before anybody say anything, they supposed to read you the rights. You have every right to remain silent, and everything you speak shall be held against you. But did they read that to him before he spoke? But he's a minor. This is the very first time ever being in any trouble with the law. But did they read the Miranda rights? That's what the jury needs to hear. Let me go on. Now you arrested, away from society, and now here is social media. Here is the media of social media. Once the it was reported on the news, Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, whatever. One CNN, MSNBC, whatever. You on these large media platforms of mainstream media. They got the upper hand because they the government. Remember that. They're the government. So before anybody else can get a chance to really put any information out there that can have some more details to the story, they on there. So mostly everybody go to mainstream media. That's the government, right? Once we, social media, the people, the public, the community, hears about what happened, we go online. We have black, white, Latinos, Asian, whatever. Now everybody is hearing what has happened at a high school in Frisco, Texas on April the 2nd of 2025. A black kid stabbed some high school so called football MVP player. And his twin brother, Hunter, was there. So basically, he had to see his brother die in his brother's, he had to see his brother die in his arms. Okay? That's emotional. That's your emotions. Father comes on, maybe some witnesses. That's the first report. Now he's white, which is Austin. Carmelo is black. But they both have something in common. Carmelo goes to Centennial High School. These twins are students or goes to Memorial High School. Carmelo was really under the tent where he doesn't belong because he doesn't go to that school. But because of Austin and Hunter, who are students there at that school, gonna come and tell Carmelo he has no right to be there because he doesn't go to the school. Instead, they did not go to a coach, they did not go to somebody in security, but they went to Carmelo. So now it becomes a problem. They go to Carmelo and they say, "You can't be here. Get out of the tent." What, I don't know how the conversation was exchanged, but I do know it was some kind of bulliness that was there to tell him to leave in the rain, even if it was drizzling. He was still there to stay dry. There's a track meet. People are there from the other schools. This is a part of a activity at school, educational activity, or whatever it is. I know I'm an educator. Okay? That's what I do. So the next thing you know, it gets really, really more aggressive. So being that what's his name felt he had the upper hand, he gonna bully Carmelo. He sized him up. He's 130 pounds. He's 5'9". I'm taller. I'm bigger. So I can have a right to do this. Me and my brother, we gonna do this together. Not knowing that little Carmelo didn't want no problems. Don't touch me. Trying to get his things. They grabbing his things. They punching him. They pulling him. And now I'm done. I'm going to fight you motherfuckers. But see, I can't. It won't be a fair fight if I have to fight the both of you. So I have to defend myself. At least to have a fair fight. So one of you got to go down. And that's just what happened. When Carmelo decided to pick up whatever tool there was or instrument, the knife, and plunge it right into the chest of Austin McClaff. And that's when it all ended. Now, like I said, social media, mainstream media, because they bias. They always going to make it look like the victim is a victim. And Carmelo, especially when it has to deal with somebody of a different race. Because this white supremacy now. We dealing with white supremacy. They are the supreme race in America. But they're not the most fair human beings. They're not seeing things from a human side of things. They only see race. They don't go deeper than just race. They just only see race. But instead of seeing if it was them, if they were black and they had to deal with bullies, They're not going beyond the surface. You got to go deeper than the surface. You can't see everything because of race. I'm not so pro black. I love my black people. If I see injustice, I will stand with my black people. But when I see injustice being done to my people, I got to stand with the truth. I never followed George Floyd's trial. I've heard of it, Black Lives Matter. I never participated in any of the shenanigans. Okay? I never participated in any of the shenanigans. When the cop, I knew it was wrong in some kind of way, but then again, I needed to know more about George, his reputation, his lifestyle, all of that other stuff. That's what I saw. I'm being fair. I didn't look at the color of his skin or why the cop had his knee on his neck, but what I saw was his reputation, how he lived his life, even how it led up to this part of his life that it had to end. I didn't just jump on the bandwagon and call it injustice. And there's a whole lot of other people that thought the same way as I did to call it injustice. So whenever they want to throw this George Floyd, that black people was protesting for our criminals like George Floyd, this is different. This is Carmelo, a 17-year-old who has never, ever broke any laws, who was a student and a high school student. And he was being challenged and he was being up against some very difficult situations and to make a very difficult decision at 17. So we can't use the same people when we talking about justice for a life. George Floyd was older, Carmelo 17. I went over to George Zimmerman, George Floyd, whatever. It's not about George Floyd, and it's not truly about that at all. In my heart, I didn't follow anything about George Floyd's life because some people, like I said, just because they look like me, don't mean I'm always going to be able to, I gotta see, certain things. I gotta hear other more material to it. I just don't make, just because I see the color black, I'm gonna be out there protesting, burning, and destroying businesses. I won't do that. That's not who I am. That's not the God that lives inside of me will do. But when I see injustice, you're going to see the God that's in me come out. And it's not going to be a God in me that's going to be very beautiful in your sight. It's going to be the God that's going to come with rage. It's going to be a God that's going to come with fire. It's going to be a God that comes with brimstones. It's going to be a God that comes with wrath. Because what you're doing, and you know it's wrong. You can't sit up here and tell me you are a man or a child of God when you know something was wrong. And you're going to call it out and you're going to try to cover it. You can't be a person of God when you do that. You got to be like honest. How was you raising that child? What was you pouring into his life? How to respect other people? How to be kind to other people? How to show that you wasn't going to be nobody that's going to disrupt and cause all kind of trouble. Because look at how everything, hey, the way somebody died and you see the spirits of people coming out, that's who they were. Because all of a sudden, all this racism came, division, hatred. Because that's why I know that child that's in the grave, Austin McClellan, was not a good person. He wasn't God's chosen. He wasn't a child of his. And when I talk about being fruitful and multiply, I'm saying to you mothers that keep putting your black baby daddies in the system, you need to stop. You need to stop. In the Bible, it says, be fruitful and multiply. Blessed is the fruit of the womb. Don't let nobody discourage you to not continue to love and multiply. Your children are supposed to be here like anybody else. Some of them may fail you. Some of them may not be called to be good children. Some of them are called to just be with Satan from the time they born, because it started from the beginning with Adam and Eve. And we're going to go into, and I could tell you that chapter, and I'm going to tell you it's in Genesis 1, verse 28. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. This is the word of the Lord. Blessed is the fruit of the womb. And now that Carmela, mother, is going through trying to see justice for her son and the love for her son, because I pray for my sister. Because when I said to her, I said, my prayers are with Carmelo. She said to me, I don't know her name, but it's when I made my donation, is when I had that conversation in a text with her. Please, we are Christians. And that's all it took was those little words. And I believed her. And that's why I'm here now on the sake of that child of hers. That mother. That mother who brought her baby boy into this world. I'm in this fight for that mother who's crying out to the Lord. Save my child. Devil, get your hands off my child. You know, I believe her. I'm here for that mother, for her child. And I'm crying out with her. God, don't let this be done. Satan, get your hands off Carmelo. Get your hands off him. That's why I am here and standing in the gap for that mother. Her child didn't mean to harm nobody, but he had no choice. It was two big teenage boys standing over him. He had to find a way to get free, to not allow these boys to destroy him, to harm him. because they was doing too much. And now the world, the white supremacists, the evil devil demons want to make it sound like Carmelo was at fault. And it wasn't his fault. It's how God had to use him to get himself free. And I'm just trying to get this message out there to the people who are saying these evil, wicked things from their mouth. May God condemn them, strike down on them, because it's too much for the mother to have to deal with this for her child. He wasn't out to harm anyone. They got in his space. They did it. And now they're trying to sanitize it like he's some angel. He's a devil. Yes, the devil. The devil will use anybody. Because that's how the devil is. The white supremacists. They only see the color of their skin, but they don't see a soul. It has to stop. May God be with Carmelo Anthony and his family. That this will end in the righteous way. Judgment will be on those who come against the Lord or anything against the Lord, even his children. And that's all I got to say.